I got up this morning feeling overwhelmed. If you ever feel like quitting, if you every day feel like quitting, this episode is for you. I'm Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I usually share marketing and sales strategies that are anything but sleazy, salesy, and pushy so that you can build a fitness business with integrity that you feel good about and you can still build a life that you love. Right now in COVID, that's more important than ever. And that's why I'm doing a 30-day streak of marketing tips that you can listen to in small, digestible sound bites and take action. But today's far more about me than about you, but I realized that you may need to hear this too. Seriously, I got up this morning feeling overwhelmed, and yet within 10 minutes of opening the research to complete the things that had to get done today, I was excited. I can't wait to share this message. It will help people. It will prevent problems associated with natural aging. It will help people do the things they need to do that will give them such pleasure and higher quality of life. Look, when you feel like quitting, you are not alone. But today is really about tapping into how do you get over that, or how do you get through that, or around it? And what do you do when those things happen or hit you right between the eyes? When you feel like quitting, you're not alone. If you don't feel like it today, realize that you may feel like it tomorrow. I remember distinctly while I was working with a colleague of mine who used to mentor an entrepreneurial community at Iowa State University. And we both were on a board that used to go in and speak to them regularly each semester. I asked him how it was that he always seemed to stay calm, so cool. He was reserved, and yet he managed hundreds of employees, experienced turnover, customer complaints, traveled a lot, had a family. And I knew about his business from the inside because I became a customer. They build websites. So I worked with a couple of his main assistants because, again, he had turnover. So I knew that, his right arm sometimes would leave. And yet he never seemed fazed by it. Although, don't take this wrong, he wasn't cold. He went to his employees' weddings. They had great relationships, even though the wedding meant she was leaving. Here's how he answered. He answered that he knew it was going to happen. He knew things were going to hit the fan. He expected a certain amount of things to happen, negative things. Just recently, I heard this philosophy again on a favorite podcast I listened to. It is chaos, the guest on the show said, and talking about reaching 1 million or 10 million, that it doesn't ever get more calm. That's what he was talking about. I think the title of the show, in fact, may have been, how to reach $10 million in your business. Well, the whole point was talking about the growth that their company had had over time. And it was also about the fact that, you don't get a system in place and then it all goes super smoothly and you just make more money. There's more chaos because there's just more moving parts. You bring in more chaos with more growth. When you feel like quitting, remember that. If you can reframe and expect that there will be people and days and situations, in my case, technology, that occur that we cannot control. And then come back to why you do what you do. And can you not do it? Ask yourself that. I was just out of college, my undergrad, in my first job, and I hated the whole situation, mostly because it was painfully clear to me that I couldn't, in the model that I was in that particular business at the moment, do what I loved and earn the living that I wanted to. So I did what all scared, respectable, newly graduate students do. They go back to college. So I went back to school, not to grad school originally, but my plan was to go back to school to finish my art degree. I had changed my major. In my sophomore year, my second semester, is when I really decided that I was going to become a physical education or kinesiology major. So by the next fall, I was totally in. But I lasted a semester when I went back to school. So although I love art, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't not do fitness. It pulled me back in. So I ended up going to grad school for sport and exercise psychology. Look, I'm not going to lie. There are some very challenging days. And let's be honest, for you and I right now in fitness and COVID, every day and week and month since COVID started has been challenging. Behind the scenes of any business, that's true. And still, I can say that within 10 minutes of starting to work, I'm excited. And I'll share with you this post that I wrote this morning because literally this is very real and raw. This is how my state of feeling and thinking was this morning. But this is so spot on. I posted this in my Instagram account. I can't wait to share this message. It will help women who will help more people do the things they need to do that will give them such pleasure and a higher quality of life. This is the difference between taking a vitamin and taking a prescription. You get benefits, not side effects. You get the delight factor back in your life or get it for the very first time. Exercise is medicine. Take the right kind for you. You wouldn't take your husband's, your son's, or your daughter's prescription. You will feel like quitting. And right now, I think you'll feel like you're being forced to. You are not. And I'm back to talking about you and I. You know that, right? You will feel like quitting. And if you can count on the fact that you will, it's better because you can prepare yourself. You're forced by our circumstances to change the way you've been doing it, but only you will choose that you have to quit. The world still needs you now more than ever. Here's my take action for this episode so that you can be ready when you do feel like quitting. Write down 5 things to do when you feel like quitting. So here they are. Number 1, teach someone something new about fitness. I would wager that most of us who are passionate about fitness are also passionate teachers. We love to help someone. We love to explain it. Number 2, write an article or a blog post. And if you're not somebody who writes, if you'd rather speak it, do that. Number 3 is go to social media and find one stupid fitness post that is scientifically wrong that gets you fired up and reminds you why you have to keep doing this because of all the wrong and poor messages that are going out. Number 4, imagine yourself sitting at a cubicle behind a screen for 8 hours a day for the rest of your life. And number 5, surround yourself with a coach, a community, a group, a team who can laugh about the crazy things that people do, the crazy wrong things that go wrong with your technology, and assure you that you are on the right path and that it's the rest of the world that's crazy. Because every once in a while, maybe even regularly right now. We all need a little bit of that. Just somebody sitting around agreeing with you that the rest of the world is crazy so that you can feel a little more sane. And there you have it. When you feel like quitting, and I think we all do at moments right now, make sure you've got something that will remind you who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, and how very important it is.